was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle.
This is not justice!
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
No peace! No justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K-Man, Mr. Gee paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive. Even with your lies.
This is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka Clary is a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. On this program, Dr. Meleeka guides you toward a more fulfilling life through the power of positive psychology. And now, please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings, where we become live. Or I guess say we are live, right? Hello, people. Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm so glad. You know what? First of all, let me say praise to God. Thank you, God, for getting me up this morning to be able to do this show. Thank you. And be able to say I love you to all my children. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Woo! You know it. I gotta give I gotta give like thanks. I got to do that. Okay. Because, many people haven't made it. So, I don't want to take advantage of that. It's been a rocky moment. So I have to say thank you to everyone who sent prayers about my mom. She was back in the hospital. Actually, she's getting discharged out of the hospital today on another issue. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you, it's like, as I was telling people, it's like an engine. When you get older, things fall apart and then you got to oil it and get an oil change. Well, that's like my mom right now. Things fall this way, that way. Then you got to do this to tweak that. So, but she's 82. So she's still, gutting and chucking and running. I guess we just got to lay off that Kentucky Fried Chicken every day. She loves it. And I tried, but maybe once a week. Then we got to clean her sister out quickly. So I got to tell you people, because at that age, you want to give your parent what they want, but sometimes it's just not good for them. And there's things, I can't say that it is because of that, but I know that some things you just don't digest well. So, and that's kind of where we're at with it. I'm learning some things. I'm learning to take care of myself better. If I wasn't doing already, learning how to eat certain things. And, I can still eat the favorite things I like, but you just can't sit. You got to get up and move around. And I do believe that by me being a caretaker for my mom and seeing all these things, her shifting back and forth, it sure got me thinking. It really does. So I want you guys to understand that too, because that's why I shared this. Sharing's caring. So I can let you know what you got to do for yourself. And if you haven't been doing something for your elderly, if it's like a mother, father, auntie, uncle, whoever it is that you're caretaking, you watch them and hopefully you'll get something out of that. So then you can, take care of yourself better. And it's not easy to watch somebody, and I think I make sure I explain that to you. It's not easy to watch somebody, go downhill, uphill, around a corner, and all that. It's very stressful, but somebody got to do it, and I chose to do it. Okay, and but what I what I do to stay mentally sane is, and I'm always going to tell you, walks in the park or walks or meditate. Prayer helps me do things I like to do. I went out the other day and went out to eat, and I just went out with myself, and it was wonderful. I had a good time, and it's not like I have to do that. I chose to do that. Sometimes you just want to, decode. I went dancing by myself. I love dancing, and I just decided to just get up and do that. Even though my mom was in the hospital, I checked up on her, made sure she was okay, but I also kept my mind straight and do some things, and it's not easy to do it sometimes when you're caring for someone, but you have to. You really do, because these are the days, and this is the time we're in. Things are happening every day is different. So I urge you to do some things you like to do. I may don't travel as much as I used to, but and when I do get a chance, I will do that as well. There's no regrets here because I chose to take care of my mother. And I love taking care of my mother because my mother did it for me and my children. So it's a given. I do it with a smile, and I just want her to be better and live, the best she can. And myself as well, because, even her numbers is still my numbers are up too. We don't know. But I still want you to not regret your decision, but enjoy it, smile, and just try to go, through it day by day, one step at a time. That's how I look at it, one day at a time, and that's all you can do. So, with that being said, I want you to understand that. And thank you to my fans everywhere for sending prayers and also tuning into the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. I see you, and I see you. I know you're watching on the Ruco TV, Fire TV as well, and all the other places too. So thank you. I mean, you guys are great. Really, honestly, keep on. I want you to keep watching the show, but also sharing, not just watching, but let people know what you're watching. So if you know somebody is going through something, they can watch the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. And maybe I hit on that topic. Maybe I did. I've said a lot of things. Um, and I think that you can learn some things and how to live your life better if you weren't. Or you can explain it to someone else and how to guide them. Because like I said before, we'll always follow us before we realize we're leaders. So remember that. Remember that. And you may know somebody, even like I said with my mom with dementia. I've said several segments about dementia and how you can work the mind differently and deal with a patient that has dementia. Okay. And it's really it's a very tough disease, but it's a memory loss of things, and there's some agitation with that. So you should learn a little bit about it because a lot of elderlies do experience that. So, but I do have segments, so please, find them. They are available. And it might be the time that I'm by myself, so I don't have a guest and I'm explaining about the disease or different topics like depression or fear or anything else like that. And you'll see me again. I mean, like I said, I will tune in by myself and explain some of the other symptoms and other things just to let you know, to sharpen your mind. Because I went to school for it. And you might say, well, I don't want it. I want to know it, but I ain't got time to go to school for it. So I'm going to give you that information. Okay. So you just keep tuning into me. But here's my pet peeve. Sharing is caring. So share it. Don't hold it. Free it. Okay. And with that being said, hey, um, also keep on, as you see my following, my social medias, keep on following me, Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and all that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the Dr. Meleeka Clary show, keep doing that again. Watching that, share, and Three Corners Deception. movie. It's still on Prime Video. So keep going and watch it. I know you have. Thank you to all the fans who have been watching the movie. Thank you. I really appreciate you. And that teaser of Three Corners Deception 2 is in the making. So we'll be throwing that out there just to let you know. So you can get excited. And we're still going to be doing Boston Girls too. I'll let you know when we really get into it. With God's help, you never know. Okay. Before I go on to commercial, I have amazing guests. I mean, I will introduce him, but he is an amazing person, very handsome, the eyes, girls. and but he is a guest on my show. And when I come back from break, I will, explain about my amazing and handsome guest. He is very, very, very good guy, very nice. And I will say he's good in his profession. But you just have to stay tuned and don't leave. Come back to me. So, with that being said, we're going to take a brief commercial and we'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Don't go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
Even in young individuals, older, communication, active listening, it helps. Because if a person is telling you something, try to listen to something they're saying. I have to say, when you touched about suicide too, people say, oh, well, that's the first time I heard or didn't know. Well, are we not communicating? Are we not talking?
Right.
Because how are you not knowing what's going through in this individual's mind? Are we not asking another person? How can you be a wife or a husband and you're in the same home and not knowing what your wife or husband's going through? And then all of a sudden this person commits suicide. I think we need to change that. Where's the communication? Where is not seeking therapy? Is it our pride? Are we ashamed if we're having these thoughts? Because that's where the mental illness is developing even more, because people are not sharing or caring enough, or it's a phase, because that's what I'm seeing. And that's across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be a celebrity, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a server. It doesn't matter. But you're human. So to me, we need to start changing the communication process. We need to talk.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings, as we are live. All right, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming back. As I said before I went on commercial. Okay, so this gentleman, I've met him on award ceremony with the Luxury Gala. He was getting an award too. And he is just amazing. He is an actor. He's a film producer. He's a stunt actor. He is an independent filmmaker. I mean, I could say several things of what he does, and I just don't know what he don't do. Okay. And he's hilarious. I mean, when I say I had, and plus you might have seen him there. There was some magazines out there, and we have been in them a couple of years. We've been in them together, and I just love talking to him. He is a great soul, and I really appreciate that he agreed to be a guest on my show. But here's the thing about it: although he's an actor, film producer, and stunt actor, he just everything, and he's very good looking. Okay, I have to say that. But do we really know all about him? Now, you already know my show is all about positive psychology, but it's about knowing the person, not just what he does, because that's probably what, because he's been in so many movies. I mean, he's been around, okay? And so here we go. I'm going to bring him on. And, oh, you know what? I think, did you just mention that? I didn't even, because you Elvis Presley's cousin. Is that what you said? Yeah, oh my goodness, I kind of forgot that one. Wait a minute. Elvis Presley's cousin. I forgot about that one. Wait, you just popped that and I didn't even get to say your name. This is Douglas Vermeeren. Is it Vermeeren?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, Am I saying that right? Vermeeren, because you're Canadian
That's the
originally.
problem that everybody has. But you know what? I didn't even get my last name figured out till I was like in the 5th grade because there's too many E's in the last name and I don't know where they all go. So that's kind of how it works, right? So you did perfect. You did perfect. By the way, before we start, I want to say prayers to your mom. And I hope everything comes together there. And by the way, we got to write the Colonel and tell him he needs to put some chicken noodle soup on the menu, maybe.
Yes, he does.
Right?
That's a true.
I
know. I still go get my mom 1 2 weeks from Kentucky Friday. We just got to clean her out right after.
I'm going there right after this interview because you and I were talking about you got to go get me some KFC too. Hey,
you can get macaroni salad.
let me tell you a funny story. And I think it's really important. Your listeners, if they're listening to this, you do need to take care of your seniors. It's really important because they're not going to be here forever. And honestly, some of my best memories are with both of my grandmothers before they passed. One, I went over there and we were singing Christmas carols and I still got the video. And every year, it still makes me cry at Christmas to see that. But here's a funny one. So my other grandmother on my daddy's side, I would go there sometimes to the nursing home and I would help feed her because she was starting to get where she couldn't do it by herself, right? And so they'd bring her and I into this kind of like, I guess, a dinner hall, and they'd have music there. So sometimes you'd have volunteers that would come in and they would play the music, and then the seniors could listen and they would eat at the same time. Now, here's the punchline on this. I was sitting feeding my grandmother, and these guys come on the stage and they start playing. And she stops for a minute while she's eating and she just looks at him. And then she says, without filter and as loud as she can, "They're not very good, are they?" In front of everybody. Grandma, did you just say that? One of my favorite memories of all time. And I guarantee 100% those poor people on the stage who were volunteering their time, coming out of the goodness of their heart, they heard it. And that I just, if you're those people that heard that day, I apologize on behalf of my grandma. You didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings or nothing like that.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. That reminds me of some things that happened with my kids, like when the movie Yaya Girls, one of my kids, and she was like 3, she said, "Yaya!" Right? And I mean, literally, it was over. She jumped up, "Yaya!" And then I think one of my son, I think he said "F you" on some movie we saw, and he was only like 4. And I don't even know if that's the movie we saw or was something, because I swear it wasn't really it was PG. And it had something like that. And he said, "F you." Lord Jesus.
It's funny what kids say, and also sometimes there's a lot of truth to that. Like, and again, I'm going to share with you something I've never told anybody, like in this kind of setting, but this is a true story. So when I was in about the 2nd grade, I beat up this boy for giving me the finger, right? He gave me the finger. And so I had to go to the principal's office with this boy sitting next to me and my parents sitting next to me and everything. And the principal, he says, "Why'd you beat him up?" And I said, "Because he gave me the finger." And he goes, "Well, fingers can't talk." And I said, "What about deaf people?" And the principal didn't know what to say to me. But it's legit, right? But I was sincere. As a kid, I was like, "Well, then what about deaf people?"
That's right.
And so
he be giving nobody.
Probably wasn't right that I beat the boy up, but I wanted truth there, and he didn't tell me that. So, anyways, that's a whole other story. I'm telling me about it. If somebody, anyways, we'll move on.
You know what? I'm telling you, it's gonna be hard for me to get through this interview with you because I know when we see each other, we be in it. So we have a good time, okay? Right, but you know what? I'm gonna get through it because I know you.
100%. 100%.
I know you.
I'm also going to tell everybody they got to go see your movies too. Okay, so you're listening to this. This lady is incredible. You got to go see her movies. So get in.
Thank you.
Because they'll be attached later to see if you did it or not.
Thank you. I said I'm gonna have you in Boston, girls. You gotta play my husband. I mean that. Watch this.
Oh, cool.
I'm not playing. I'm like, wait a minute, Douglas. You said you'll play my husband. The role was open. I'll play with you for that role. You gonna play my husband? I can see us doing that.
Well, no rings on me, so I can be somebody's husband somewhere.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, hey, we actors for a reason.
Right.
So it's all good. You know what? Oh my God, this is exactly what I love. I love this. This is so enjoying. I hear the thing about it. my platform is all about positive psychology.
Right.
But I don't just do this because I'm a psychologist, but I'm also a human being at the end of the day. And one thing what we do, and I believe you'll have some time to answer this question before we break. I have to ask you, and I know, and if, on your introduction, you do a number of things. You wear so many hats. But here's a big question I want to ask. Who do you identify yourself to you? And it's not a quick question. It's just to you.
In other words, who do I identify myself as? When I say me, what do I say?
Mhm.
Well, after that introduction, I'm going to say probably just confused is a good answer. There's a lot going on. I guess if I'm being truthful, I've lived my life in such a way that I believe if it's not fun and it's not fulfilling, and if it's not tied to your passion, you probably shouldn't even do it. And I think life is really short. And I think, there's a lot of people that are stuck in either jobs or situations that they really do not appreciate. And it's not really adding much to their life other than just paying the bills. And so when you kind of look beyond just taking care of your needs, and maybe this is even superficial, people are going to say, oh, you've done movies and you've got money and you don't have to worry about this crap anymore. Actually, I come from a really poor background. My mom babysat kids in the home. My dad worked in construction. We actually, as a family, delivered flyers door to door to be able to sometimes pay the bills for realtors and that. So it's not really about money. It's about a choice. And I ran into this guy at our church when I was probably, I don't know, maybe 14, 15. And he was wealthy and he had a Porsche with a brand new compact disc player in it. And I was like, that guy's loaded, right? And so I says to him, and he probably was loaded, but I says to him, well, how do you get to be successful and rich? And he says, find something that you absolutely love and then get so good at it that people will pay you. And so I think that, to me, that's really now been my mission. Find the things I love and get good at them, right? Get good at those things. And of course, you've mentioned a lot of stuff there and that stuntman stuff and all these other things. I'm not the best in the world at that. And I've had my share of injuries. We could take a long time. Actually, I had a girlfriend once. Hey, that's a miracle too. Had a girlfriend once. Anyways, we went and we chatted how many times I got stitches or broke bones and all these other kind of things. We came up with a pretty big number, but it's something that I love. Now, I don't make a lot of money as a stunt guy, but I still do stunts on my own movies. But I have other things that I could be good enough that people would want to pay me for that. And I think that's it. We find our passion, we develop it, and then we get into situations and communities where people appreciate that talent and we're compensated according to the value that we have. I'll tell you one other thing too that a friend of mine said, just to kind of maybe round out that thought. He said that everybody's wealthy. It just appears in the form you value most. So for some people, your family is the thing that is your source of wealth. And that's great. And you should celebrate that. For other people, it's the arts that they have in their life, their ability to express themselves. For you, I would imagine as the doctor that you are, it's helping other people and healing. So everyone has things that make them feel fulfilled. And wealth is by definition, not just about what's in your bank account, right? So I think that that's the way I try to live my life. And how would I define myself? I'm just enjoying life. By the way, sometimes people ask me, what's the favorite movie I've ever done? And my answer is the next one, because that means that I'm still working.
I love that.
Right?
I love that. The next one.
Because
that's wonderful. I like that.
What I do. And I guess another thing that's kind of interesting, I was on another interview a little while ago, and they asked me kind of, what's your message to your fans? And it's like, I don't have any.
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that one.
Hey, remind me. We'll talk about this in a minute.
I'm going to remind you. I'm going to get that. And it's going to be like a quote. I'm going to get to that one. Okay. And with that being said, thank you for sharing that information. We're going to take a brief commercial, and we are going to be right back with the handsome Douglas. Do not go nowhere. He will be right back on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show.
Tell me a little bit about what you do as a clinical psychologist.
Well, I see clients regarding depression, bipolar, personality disorders, because we know we have many out there. So I help people deal with that and their families and everything like that.
And of course, mental health right now at the forefront, so important as people really start to kind of work on. I feel like we're gaining ground to understand that it is something that we can talk about, that we can seek help for.
Yes, it's been important. I think a lot of people didn't realize how important it is since the pandemic, but it's been important, just like physical, your medical condition. So yes, I've always thought it was, but I'm glad that we're getting help. And people are identifying it, because that's what's important. Many people wasn't identifying mental health issues. They just thought, oh, maybe you're having a bad day. No, that's labeled depression. If you're constantly having that bad day, every day you're waking up with that feeling, you need to seek help. You need to talk about it, communicate.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. We are still with the amazing Douglas Vermeeren, right? Vermeeren. Okay. All right. I like the name. It's just so hard for me to pronounce it.
Me too. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Oh, you too? Okay, you did say that. You did say that. Well, welcome back, my dear. You know what? Let me ask you, and I know you kind of mentioned something about religion. I'm like religion to a point when I say I don't judge nobody's religion. I was raised in Christianity, and I actually just go wherever church I want to go to and whatever I want to do. I just base it on prayer and how I feel. But you know what? I always ask people, what is your religion mechanism? Background or what you believe in. Why? Because sometimes when you're in a situation, I know when I'm in a situation, it's too hard for the human flesh to deal with it. I get on my knees and I pray. What is that for you?
That's a great question. So I was raised kind of in a mix of, this is a weird mix. There was Mormonism on part of our family. There was Catholicism, and then also a very large Jewish community where I'm surrounded in. And I lived in China for years, so I got access to Buddhism and all these things. And and I've also studied religion. So I guess the easiest way to say is that I know I'm God's favorite. Because we all are, right? You better believe that. I believe he watches over me, and I am religious, and I do pray, and I do, have him guide my future as best as I understand it. Now, keeping in mind, I'm not perfect, so I make mistakes all the time.
That's right.
But I would say that, my religious experiences in my life have made me a Christian for sure. But how that expresses, I think it's a very personal thing. And I think that's something that, rather than talking about it as an institution or a building that I go to, which I do go to church, but I find where the real stuff happens is not on Sunday for me. It's in those quiet moments where I'm listening. I think that that's the thing to say it, right? And most of the time, they say in the Old Testament, you can find this in the Torah and you can find it in the Bible, that, when we have Elijah hearing all the tempests and the tornadoes and the whirlwinds and all this stuff, the voice of God was in none of that. But what it was in the still small voice. And I like those three words, because still means that it's calming, right? Small means that you got to really pay attention to it. So you got to listen for that. And then voice means that it's clear. So it's tough. If you're going to be calm and listen, the voice will be clear. And I think sometimes nowadays we just live in a very noisy environment, whether it's the news, social media, loud stuff everywhere we go. And I think it's really hard for me too. Not just, I'm not pointing it out. It's hard for you. No, it's hard for everybody to
That's right.
tune into that voice. And so I'm a firm believer that parts of your day should just be still. Shut everything off. Find a secluded place. Let your brain and your heart, because I believe God talks to both, talks to one and then confirms it here. I think that that's kind of the way that it has worked for me. Right. So I don't mean to speak on behalf of God and say, this is how he's going to get to you. If you're prepared to listen, he'll find you in your own way. He'll find you in the way.
That is so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And that sharing is caring. And I asked that question because many people are looking for direction. and they want to know how you did it, how you figure it out. And what you explain, it's not about you just figuring it out, it's just what you feeling. And maybe if they was still and listen, and they can hear instead of the noise. You know what I mean?
Another thing that I've kind of found in my life, and I'm not saying that this is a surefire tactic for success. When I do things solely on my mind, trying to figure it out, sometimes I've had regrets because I picked the wrong stuff by looking at the answers. But anytime I've listened to my heart, even if I've gotten it wrong, I still feel like it was the right decision. You know what I mean? So somebody told me once, the more important the question, the more important the answer comes from the heart. Right? And then I feel in my life like I've got a lot of really good mentors, a lot of really good people that care about me. I recently actually had an interesting event happen in my life, which was difficult to deal with. And I had a friend of mine call me, and he's in his mid to late 80s. And what do they say? That old eyes often see best. And so some of the ways that I wanted to solve this problem, maybe they might have done something, but when he shared his wisdom, I was like, that's the better way. That's the better way. And so I think it's important to surround ourselves with people that love and care about us, and people that have our best interests, people that are true friends. I heard a comedian once say, you can always tell who your friends are by who will drive you to the airport at 3 a.m. And I'm going to say that's probably true, right?
That's probably right.
Right? But
they don't want to do it, but they do it.
But I also think another way to tell who really loves you is who, no matter what you're going through and what you're sharing, they're not going to tell you, you ought to do this or you're wrong or whatever. They're the people who on the phone will, first of all, hear you out. And then with compassion, they may help you see a few things in a kind and loving way. Right. And it doesn't, by the way, always mean it's going to be comfortable for you either. Right.
Yeah. Tough love is tough love.
But they're going to tell you some things that maybe you need to hear, but they'll do it in a way where you feel still that you can have that relationship with that person. And
that's good.
I think it's great, right? I think we all need better connection like that. So
that is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That goes into my next question. Have you ever had a challenge that it was very difficult? I think you was going through some of that. We all have challenges, but just share me one challenge that you went through it and you was just like, I don't even know how I got out of it, but this is how I did. And the reason why I asked that question is because, like I said, we are followers before we realize we're leaders. And there's people all over the world watching my platform in different countries going through something. And they just want to know how you got through something. Maybe they can utilize that technique or how you did it.
Well, I think the reality is we're all humans. So, you know, I mean, you want to know if I'm going through something or have gone through something. How much time do you got? In fact,
I just need one. I knew you guys say something.
Here's something that another friend of mine told me. Okay, and I think that there's some truth to this. He says, in life, we're either headed to a problem, we're in a problem, or we're just coming out of a problem. And the reality is, I think the way, this is just again my feelings. If you want to expand what you have in your life, you have to start by expanding who you are. So every problem is designed to make us better than we were before. And the reality is the problems aren't just there to beat us down. They're often there to teach us things about ourselves. And so if we're going to the scriptures for a minute, okay, because again, you were talking about scriptures. In the Old Testament, in the Torah, we hear of the patriarch Abraham. And if we remember the story, Abraham was told he needed to sacrifice his son. Remember this?
Yeah,
anyway,
I do remember.
A lot of people would say, well, that's a mean God to do that and all these kind of things. But I don't think that was ever the objective. Why did God do that to Abraham? Because I believe Abraham needed to learn something about Abraham. How well did he trust? Right? Because God probably never had any intention to let him kill his son. That was probably never even on the map. It was just like, I want to see how far this guy's going to go. And now all of a sudden, for the rest of his life, Abraham knows that. Now, here's something just about the Hebrew word in the scriptures for faith. A lot of people think it means to believe in something you cannot see, and that's part of it. But the actual word in the Old Testament means loyalty or devotion. So it's a matter of loyalty. So now that Abraham knows that he has loyalty, he knows he's got that. So I think that that's something that our problems are designed for. Now, you asked about my personal problems. Again, whoa, I got lots. I'm just like every other human on the planet. And if you're going through it, just make sure you don't stop and take pictures. Keep going, right? That's it.
Keep going.
Right? It's not a tour bus where you get to stop and walk around for a little while. You're just going through. So just remember, whatever you're going through, it's going to pass, right? What comes after a problem? No problem. That's just the way that life is. So hang in there and keep going. And I mean, I've been through a lot. Like I've had divorce in my life. I've had family members die. I've had close family members. Actually, my brother lost a baby to cancer at 18 months. So I've seen some really tough stuff. But here's the deal: is my problems belong to me. And so rather than me sharing them with you guys saying, woe is me, my problems are bigger than everybody else's out here. Listen to my problems. I don't want to come across as that. Instead, what I want to say is, and by the way, what do we say if we tell other people about our problems? Some people will say, well, that's what you deserve. So congratulations. We've got to be there for each other. And I think the other thing is don't focus on the problem. You focus at the light at the end of that tunnel. And so I wouldn't say I'm always grateful for my problems, because that's a lie. Sometimes I'd rather do without them. But I am grateful when they're finished. And a lot of times there is a lesson, and sometimes those lessons are not even temporary. Sometimes the damage that a problem can cause can affect your whole life going forward, and change things on a trajectory you never saw coming. But I think that the thing is the biggest thing with a problem is you can be a victor or a victim. You can't be both. And if you have one foot in scarcity and one foot in abundance, you're always going to default to scarcity. If you have your foot tied to an anchor, but you're trying to swim to the top, you'll eventually get tired and go down. So there's certain things you need to let go of, even though they're not comfortable, even though you may never be able to change it, even though it hurts you and makes you cry and breaks your heart. Sometimes it's just enough to say, okay, I got that message. Let it go. Now I'm on to the next thing. Right? I had that failure. Great. Let it go and focus on what you can do. Now, here's something interesting you might find. So I did a personal development movie. By the way, I produced 5 of the top personal development films out there after films like The Secret. And when I was doing some stuff there's a book that I wrote too called Personal Power Mastery. And we talked about the power that we have, like our power. The first power that I identified was really interesting. I wanted to know how to make change in our life. How do you make quick change if you want to make a change? And so I was talking to all kinds of gurus and everybody, all the big top personal development people that you know, and they all had great answers. But I decided, hey, I should talk to the people who do the suicide hotlines, because they got to change somebody quick. Those people, when they call, they're in real trouble. So they got to talk to them and make changes quick. Well, you know what? I chatted with this one lady who trained these people, and she said, out of all the things that we can say, there's one thing we cannot say. I said, well, what's that? She goes, we can't really tell them, don't kill yourself. Because then why? I said, why would you say that? She goes, because it takes away their choice. We can tell them, if you kill yourself, this is what it looks like. We prefer you don't kill yourself. But if you choose to stay, that's what this looks like. And she said, every time we help them see new choices, their power returns. So if we think about this, I want you to think about this. If you're having a really difficult time right now, and it looks like you've got no options, start thinking about the options. And every option that comes, you don't even have to take it, right? So the suicidal person, if he says, well, I could stay here and tomorrow I could deal with this. I could just go to bed right now and I'll just deal with this tomorrow. That's a choice. And it empowers him. Or he could say, maybe what I'll do tomorrow is I'll call this person that I have the problem with and I'll try and solve it. That, again, gives them another choice. They've got more power, right?
There you go.
And by the way, one of my favorite things, so I lived in China for a year. One of my favorite quotes that I ever had or that I took away, I was on a mountain called Wutai Shan, and I was talking with this Buddhist monk who happened to be from San Francisco, because my Chinese is not that good. So thank goodness he could speak English. And we're just talking about these ideas of feeling better about ourselves, fighting depression. And he said this, first, if you want to feel better about yourself, he said, go do something for someone else. That's great.
There you go. I love that.
You want to feel even better, now go do something for someone else that they cannot repay. And I was like, wow, that's great too. And then he said, the best way though, this is the best way. He said, the best way to feel good about yourself, do something for someone else that they cannot repay, and do it anonymously so you never get caught. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So those are some choices too. So if you're this person feeling like all is lost, get in your car, go do something for somebody, and do it in a way that they'll never catch you. Right? That's a
That is
choice.
beautiful.
Right?
Oh, thank you. And we're going to leave on that note on taking a quick commercial. Thank you for sharing. I love that. Love it. All right, we'll be right back with amazing and handsome Douglas. Do not go nowhere. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show.
Oh, look at this huge group here. They look fantastic, especially this guy at the back here. Look at this. Look at this. Look, ta-da, ta-da. Oh! Get off my... Yeah, I was like, oh, get off my foot. Tell us about you guys.
Well, they're from Boston. I'm from Indianapolis. We're here with Three Corners of Deception movie. Here's the director right here, Dr. Meleeka Clary. I'm Will Garth, the cinematographer. Our movie can be found on Amazon Prime. We have some of the actors and cast. We got Lance Laccone, the promoter, executive producer. These are also her daughters, her sister, her friend. We're all here. We're all big family.
We are family. Wow.
Production manager, actress, all in the movie Three Corners Deception. Hello, promoter Lance Laccone. Say hello. Hello.
He's the Godfather, right?
I know, the Godfather.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. We're coming live. We are still with the amazing Douglas. Come on in here. Welcome back, my dear. Welcome back. You know, it is such a pleasure having you. You're amazing. I'm telling you. I love that. It's a light.
That clip with you on the carpet there. I love that.
Yeah, that was.
You did a good interview there.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That was like several years ago. I think that was 3 years ago. I think
I was there, but not in that.
You was there. No, you know what? You was there. There was a write-up about you, me. Well, yeah, I got a write-up on something, and you're in it with Lawrence Hilton and me, and you, and yes. So you were there. We caught up a little later. I think it's called Stars or something. It was something Stars something. I know. Just Google it. It will be there. So grateful. Let me ask you this question. Sure. You know, and we've mentioned this on the platform about doing things for yourself and taking care of yourself. And it's so important to ask this question because many people don't do it. We say how important it is, but self-care, many people don't do that. What do you do for self-care, and how important do you think it is?
Oh, I think it's essential. The reality is I heard a quote one time that said, you know, like a bow and arrow. It said, a bow that is always strung loses its spring. And so I think that you do have to have times where you're, let's say, selfish maybe, and you take care of yourself. So a few things that I do, I'll start with the crazy stuff first. So I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I find, well, first of all, you can't bring a telephone with you on the mat. Like you just can't. So you're not able to do that. And if you're not fully present, you're going to get hurt. Right. And so I'm a firm believer that sometimes being in a situation like that, where I have to let go of the stress of the day, the stress of business, the stress of maybe family stuff, the stress of whatever it is, and just be present there for myself. That's really refreshing. Even though it's a fighting sport, it's actually very relaxing. And then the other thing, which is totally the opposite extreme, okay? The opposite extreme is I do like to go to the spa and treat myself. I do like to be there and, you know, just kind of take a nap while somebody's taking care of me. And sometimes my best ideas come that way. And then if I'm being sincere, I mean, the work that I even do on a movie set and everything else and the artistic stuff that I do, because I paint and I do other things as well. I find that when I'm in those kind of zones where I don't have the pressure to, how should we say, deliver something. I can just be in that artistic element of what happens. Let it flow, see what happens. I find that that's a great reset for me, right? And so I love to find activities like that. And by the way, the other thing too is when I'm busy doing a movie, I know a lot of other people, when the movie finishes at the end of the day, they go out and they do a big party and they try and hang out with everybody and do all this. I actually kind of avoid that. So when I'm like at a hotel staying to go do a movie, oftentimes I will come back and I will be a hermit and I'll just kind of disappear. And I'm not trying to be rude that I don't want to associate with other people. Okay. You're on, right? It's like if for anybody that's ever been like at a family reunion, while you're at the family reunion, you're on, you're shaking hands, you're smiling to everybody gets a hug, blah, blah, blah. Then when you get your own time, you're like, oh, I need a break. And so that's
exactly
kind of how I feel about it. So if and by the way, yes, I'll always go to the rap party. I love the karaoke, all that kind of stuff, super fun. But when I'm doing the movie, oftentimes I will be literally sitting in my room just finding some zen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes those days are long.
Oh, they
I
are.
mean, you got 12 hours, and I give it to people who want to
I
go.
got a 23-hour day one time.
I can imagine. I'm not gonna kid. I can imagine. I was just being nice.
Yeah,
12
yeah.
hours. Okay, I'm being nice because I know I remember we and probably shoot it all into like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Right.
And it was just like, I mean, we started like 9. And it
Yeah.
was just like, okay, I was tired. I mean, I was just like, okay, can we, I mean, I'm tired.
Sometimes I got to get the shot. But the other thing too is like I've had lots of days where, depending on what my makeup is, the last movie that I just did, extensive makeup, I'll be able to publish pictures and talk about it later. But they even did my teeth for makeup and stuff, which was crazy.
Oh yeah.
So I had days where I was on set at like 4:30, and then at the end of the day, we would end after maybe even a 12 or even 15-hour day. But then I got to learn and practice what I got to do tomorrow. So when I get home, even by the time, and by the way, everybody thinks being an actor is an amazing life. I love it. It's not for everybody, but there's that old saying that you probably heard from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that private victories precede public victories. So a lot of the hard work that you're doing, most of the public will never ever see, but if you don't do it, they definitely see it. What is
exactly.
it? One of my friends was a referee in the NFL, and he says, I can always tell which players did the work before they got on the field. Right. You can tell. And so whatever you do, it's going to be what you choose to motivate yourself to do and the dedication that you do without anyone else kicking your butt. Right. And by the way, I love this saying too. Here's one good one for you. Do you know that the size of your success is always based on the size of your butt? Now, what do I mean by that? If you say, but I can't do it, but I don't have the time, but I don't have the research. If your butt is big like that, you'll never have success.
My butt's not that big, but a little onion booty.
Yeah, right? It's truth, though.
At least that's what I heard.
Excuses never created anything. Excuses never created anything.
That was a good one to hear.
Right? I'm not making this up. This is.
You're funny. Let me ask you, because we're going to be wrapping up soon. I do have 2 other questions to ask you. One, what's a quote that you utilize because I have a quote that I live by: never stop trying. My dad always said that. He's passed on by now, but never stop trying. So whatever I succeed in, I feel like I just never stop trying. There's always a way, and that's me. So I took that from him. What is that quote for you?
You know what? I'll maybe pull something from what we have sometimes said as a stuntman. And I know this is going to sound a little bit silly, but the quote is bleed in private. Okay. Bleed in private. And what that basically means is when you've got a job to do, you do your best and you don't complain. And if you got crying to do about it or whatever, take that to yourself, right? Nobody wants to hear it. So, and I think that it's not just like physical pain. It's just like, I think sometimes one of the reasons I feel that I've been so fortunate and blessed in this career isn't because I'm the best actor. I'm probably not even a good actor. Let's be honest about that. But I feel like I'm easy to work with. And if somebody asks the answer is, yeah, let's go for it. Right?
Yeah.
And I think in life, we've got too many complainers who they'll give you all the reasons in the world why it's not something I'm comfortable with. And it's not this and that. And you know what? Great. You'll be uncomfortable for today, but you're never coming back. Versus the people who go the extra mile. In fact, there's something that I've talked about in some of the books I've written called the willingness factor. Right. And if you look at the far end, if this is like a continuum going up this way, this is the people who cry and I'm not paid enough and I didn't get paid to do that. And, mom says, make your bed when you're a teenager. And you're like, I'm not really interested in that. Well, those people always get fewer rewards and nobody wants to hang out with them. But if you go up the pole, there's people that they do a great job. Then you go even higher and there's people that, in fact, even go the second mile. You've heard of that. But even higher, there's people that anticipate problems before they even happen. And they solve things and they make things easier for everybody. These people always get paid more and they're always invited to participate. They're the people that can be counted on. So the question is, where will you be? And if you're going to bleed at all, bleed in private. If you got a complaint, share it on your own somewhere.
There you go. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, yes, and you're saying it's so respectful, and it's really I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Let me ask you this. Okay, so what made you want to be?
Sorry, can you say that again? You cut out there for a second.
What made you want to be an actor?
Well, this is a weird story because my first appearance on television, I was 5. And that was my mom that took me and my brothers. We were studio audience members at a kids show in our community. And honestly, when they finished up the show, they had free McDonald's cheeseburgers for everybody that was there. That was a pretty good deal. So
sounds like one.
Right? So that's pretty good. And then later I kept doing film. And I remember the first movie that I did, my grandpa took me to the set and the craft services table had like jelly-filled donuts. I was like, that's a good deal. Plus at the end of the day, they gave me $50. And so I was like, this is great. And all I had to do was ride my bike and be a newspaper boy. But in all seriousness, it was probably around middle school and into high school where I started understanding what I was really doing. And I just enjoyed the idea of being a storyteller. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I had somebody ask me, Kay, what do you think about your fans, etc. And I said, I don't have any fans. And they said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I don't only do movies that I like and that I would watch. I'm not going to do a movie that I wouldn't watch. So if they like those movies too that I'm in, they're not really fans, they're friends. They're the people that I would actually go hang out with because I'm not doing that movie unless I want to watch it. You're not watching it unless you want to watch it. So together we would go watch it. And so I think that this is kind of the other reason why I've chosen to be an actor. First of all, I'm not really good at anything else. So thank goodness they have this.
Something else. You're terrible. Like we're good at anything else.
I'm a storyteller. And I love the energy and the excitement of being on a movie set. And by the way, even though you shared those red carpet pictures, I want to clarify for everybody watching, as movie people, we don't go from one red carpet to the next. Most of the time on a movie set, it's porta potties, food trucks, bad fitting costumes in cold weather, terrible schedules, in the heat, in the sun. I was just doing this movie in Arizona. My costume, I can't say much about the movie, but I'll say my costume has a hubcap attached to the side of it, and they're getting me to run across the desert where there's rattlesnakes and rocks. And and my costume is multi-layers, and it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so, Arizona.
Yeah. So let me ask, does that sound like a dream job? Is that what you wanted to sign up for? We do it because we love it. And honestly, I had such a fun time that day, but I won't lie. And I better not tell the director this, but I felt like I was getting heat stroke at points and things were getting blurry for me. And I was like, yeah. Then they asked me to do a stunt where I have to rappel down this kind of cavern thing. And I'm still kind of like, I don't know if I'm fully here, but what did I say? Bleed in private. The answer is yes. So even though I can't see, I
don't know if I'm here or not.
Right? I don't know if I'm here or not, but if I fall, they're going to wake me up in an hour or whatever it is. So let's just keep going. Right. So you just got to love it. Right. But anyway,
I don't know if I'm here or not.
I'm here now. Right. And by the way, they've given me some crazy awards for some of this messed up stuff. And I don't know why they do that, because what is it? Just basically a hero badge saying you survived. You made it. Right? Like that's kind of what
well, you got to get the recognition. It's so nice when you do. It's good. Not expecting it, but it's good. It's good that somebody honestly, sees your work.
I think the recognition, if anything, like again, I put these here because now my mom really knows I have a job, right? So that's helpful. But the reality is it is a sense of validation, and it's not just because you do acting or whatever. I think everybody needs validation, whatever you are doing in your life. Right?
Nice to be appreciated.
Valuable, and everyone is a contributor, and everyone deserves recognition. And just because my job is different than yours doesn't make my job more important or your job more important. We all have some place we've been called to be, and we should do the best where we are. Right? I think that's it.
I love that. That is wonderful. Thank you. Let me ask you, what is your social medias? How do people, can they Google you? How do they find you, support what you're doing? Movies that's on IMDb, or I know they can find you on there. Do you have any social medias you want to mention, or just let people
Mentioned
know
it
how to
all.
get you?
I'll be honest with you, I am on all those things. So you can find me on all of those. But I think the one where I post the most, where people really want to see the journey and behind the scenes pictures of movies I'm on and pictures with some of those celebrities and all the fun stuff, it's mostly Instagram. That's mostly what I use. And it's at Douglas Vermeeren. Now, I have to confess, I'm not posting as probably faithfully as I ought to. And I'm also giving people, I do. I probably put up, like I drop them in loads, right? Like, hey, here's this event. Here's a bunch. Then I'm quiet for a while. Then I'll put in a bunch more. But here's the deal. Can I give everybody advice? You can follow me if you want. I'll follow you back. You can send me messages. I'll probably send you messages back because I'm on that stuff. But rather than spending all that time on social media, do your own thing, man. Like, seriously, that's what life is about. It's good to follow people. It's good to be part of that. I'll be your friend. We can be friends. But I want to see your adventures too. What are you creating? That's the question, right?
Oh, I love that.
And one of my mentors said it this way. He says, are you going to live a life where you're just watching on TV what everybody else does, or are you going to go create your own adventures? And one of the favorite things that my mom told me that I think was the best compliment, she said to me once, she goes, wow, you're on TV more than you watch it. That's cool.
I like that. That's
You're on TV more than you watch it. And so I'm going to suggest take that motto in your own life, even about social media. Sure, follow me. Love to follow you back. But go create your own adventures, right? Create your own adventures. Live once, right?
That's right. Live your best life. Thank you. That is so amazing. Oh my gosh, you're such a pleasure. You are like a nice sunny day for me. So thank you.
That's kind of you. Yeah.
I'm so serious right now because I'm so serious. No, really. Thank you so much for being on the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. No, it's not our first time. You know, our last time. I know we're gonna be doing. I mean, what I said. You watch. You're gonna be thinking she was for real about that. I'll be like, I told you, we gotta do a movie together. I don't care how we're gonna do it, but we gotta do
a movie together.
We are gonna figure it out.
Just let me know and I'll be there. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. So this will be good.
Yeah. I'm writing it down here and then here. I got the number. I'm not playing. Watch. You see. God's willing.
And then for catering, let's get some KFC going on.
Oh my goodness, we might have to do that.
You want to hear a funny KFC story before we part? Because I know.
Go ahead, dear.
I've done a bunch of movies in Kentucky, but the very, very first movie that I ever did in Kentucky, I tell my brothers, I was like, I'm going to eat KFC when I get there. I'm totally going to get KFC. And he's like, yeah, you have to. It's Kentucky. So I get off the airplane. The director and the producer pick me up, and I tell him I got this dream to eat KFC in Kentucky. And he goes, oh, we got better than that. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we got way better than that. So I'm like, what's better than KFC? So I hop inside their vehicle and we start driving. They took me to a Chick-fil-A.
Are you serious?
It was good. It was good. And I did get my KFC. I did get my KFC on the way out, but it was great. But by the way,
you did?
Yeah. Something that I also found, I didn't know.
Thank goodness it wasn't Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
because you ain't got Chick-fil-A.
Right? Yeah. And as much as I do like Chick-fil-A, there's no shade on Chick-fil-A because I will eat there. I like that place.
I do too.
The gravy. What's going on? You don't have the gravy. I'm so sorry. But you do have the stuff, right? Everybody's got their lane. But something I didn't know is that the Colonel had a brother, and they've got a series of chicken chains too through Kentucky. I can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty good.
That.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotta look into it. Let me Google it.
But
I might have ate it.
I have to confess, on the days that I had off, there was a girlfriend that I had at the time. Don't worry, she's long gone. See, no rings. But anyways, she got me hooked on Cracker Barrel when we were there.
I like French toast and bacon over there.
Oh,
I like different stuff.
I think we tried everything on their menu, but it was all good. So
I think it was French toast I had there. If I remember, it was French toast and bacon, the ham.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, and their little shop. I'm telling you, I spent so much on
Oh
stuff.
my God! Yeah, little games they put at the table. Little games. I like that.
I bought a harmonica and I still haven't even played it. I don't know why I thought I could do that, but anyway, it's all like crazy stuff.
You are something else. Oh my goodness. All right, my dear, you are such amazing. It is such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, thanks
Thank
for having me.
you. You're welcome, my dear. Such a pleasure. Thank you again. Well, I will see you later. Thank you for tuning in for Dr. Meleeka Clary. You take care. Have a wonderful day and the rest of the weekend, my dear. Thank you. Mwah. Just love it. As you know, that was my amazing guest. That was Vermeeren. Oh my gosh. He is such a blessing. Okay. And I had so much fun. And sometimes you just need it. Okay. He's just a light and he lit out my day. It was just this is what you get. See, I love my show, but I love when I speak to different people and what they have, their energy. I feed off of that. So I have to say again, I had such a wonderful time and in short notice he came on my show. I had someone that canceled and he just came in. I just love that. It was meant to be. So let me just tell you guys, thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. I hope you enjoyed the segment today because I did. I was a guest at my own show and it was just fun, fun, fun. I want you to enjoy the rest of the weekend, or actually the rest of the day and the weekend to come. And I have to say this to you. If no one said I love you, I love you and I care. And I share information, not just the law, entertainment, psychology, just life. Life be life. So I'm sharing that with you so you can have a better life. One day at a time, people. That's all I ask you. Stay in it one more day. It'll get better. I promise. It'll get a little better. All right. May God bless you all. Take care. And thank you again for tuning in to Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. God bless.